Good afternoon, everybody, or pre-afternoon, as the case may be, wherever you are. Welcome to my birthday stream. Yes, I have become a year older, old as the hills. And just for the sake of marking the occasion, I thought I would do a quick little stream. Well, quick, depending on what we decide to do, because I have a placeholder event in case other things run out of time, a TEDx short that I hadn't looked at yet, but I thought we might listen to. But I also have at least one or two guests coming on, and they can pop in whenever they feel like it. So hopefully that'll happen sooner or later. Or I'll just, wing it by myself. I've done that before. Either way, but good afternoon to you all. Thank you so much for popping in and showing up for a little bit to have a little get together, a little hello. Before I begin, and before it disappears off of my screen, because that does tend to happen, thank you so much, Derek LaRue, as always, for your generosity and your support. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. I lack the vocabulary. The poverty of my imagination limits me from expressing to you how much I appreciate your help and generosity. In that vein, I am taking a cue from Mama Scribe. Now, while I very much appreciate donations directly to me, if you decide that perhaps you'd like an alternative, at the top of the chat box, there is a link to the donation page for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of America. So if you wanted to do a birthday gesture on my behalf, please consider doing that. I'll be making another donation. I already made one for my mother for Mother's Day on her behalf, because that was her request for her Mother's Day gift. But for my birthday, I'll be making a donation myself after the stream. And if you decide to pitch in a couple of bucks through that link up there, I would very much appreciate it. And I would consider that a gift as well. So thank you so much for considering that. Or at the worst, if you can share that link out on social media, I'd appreciate it. But thank you, Derek LaRue, and thank you, everybody. Okay, so I got somebody in the waiting room, so I want to get on real quick. Okay, let me change up a couple things first. First, I have to turn off the overlay. Oh my God, it's the overlay. Oh no. And then I have to stop sharing this for a minute. Okay. And then I have to do this. And then, oh, that's way too, that's got to be intimidating.
Hello.
Hello. It is Keeverdam. Keeverdam, den mother of the chat, moderator, both here and on the Discord server. And Keeverdam very graciously has offered to save me having to do it for myself and sing happy birthday. So Keeverdam, I'll cede the floor to you.
All right, well, here we go. Happy birthday to you.
Whee!
Happy birthday to you.
Whee!
Happy birthday, dear Scribe Light. Happy birthday to you.
Yay! Thank you, Keeverdam. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to hang out if you want, or if stage fright overtakes you, as it sometimes me, you can pop out wherever you want.
It's all good.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. I got my kitty here with me, Clarice.
Yeah, I think I heard a little squeaking there. Aw, kitty cat.
Yeah.
Aw, putty cat. Fussy little putty cat. But yeah, so welcome to the birthday stream. Let me get out some hellos here to everybody that I can see. Of course, Chad has jumped away. So if you said hello earlier on, apologies if I miss you, but I'll try to get everybody I can. Timothy Seelbeck, Jaeger Pony, Jen T, Maxie, Seftus Wolf, Brittany Holland, Miranda Stone, Dax Orion, probably with some moniker I missed in the course of things. So hi, Dax. Let's see, John Miller. Some Namnyon Nation is here. Derek LaRue, of course. And Noah Asensio, who was on the Pop Culture Minefield stream earlier. I'll talk about that in a second. Mike Savage, Blarg, John Miller, Ken Elliott, Tyrai Deos. Keep forgetting how that's supposed to go. Keldrig, Robert Pincus, Angry Kit Kat, Hermaeus Mora, Zombie Teddy, Spittlebuggies. Everybody's popping in now. And I think that's everybody I see. I'll try to say more hellos as time goes on. But yes, you were there for the pop culture stream for a bit, weren't you?
Earlier today, a little bit.
Yeah, so Pop Culture Minefield, every Monday, if you guys don't know Pop Culture Minefield, look them up on YouTube. Every Monday they have a show called Military Monday, where they discuss usually a film dealing with military matters and things, because the host, Jerry, is former military. And last week, they had mentioned that the next Monday, today, they'd be doing the Hunt for Red October. And I was like, oh, can I get on and talk about Hunt for Red October? It's my favorite movie. And very graciously, they sent me the link after I, subtly but not so subtly nudged them for an invite. And yeah, I got to geek out on the Hunt for Red October for about 2 hours, and Tom Clancy stuff in general and other things. And it was great. And it was a nice little surprise, unplanned little birthday gift. And Jerry's great, and everybody on there, and Martin and Das Wolfen. And a gentleman I hadn't met to that point, Joe, he was on there. And yeah, it was really nice talking. When you can geek out with people that also have an appreciation and a knowledge about a subject that you're also very, very happy about, like Tom Clancy books and On for Red October and things like that. It's always a joy. It's a nice distraction from the usual DEI, immigration, entertainment stuff that I usually look at. So. But yeah, what'd you think of the stream?
I woke up late, so I didn't catch the whole thing. Sorry.
How dare you? I am so no, not just fine. No, I wasn't sure if I was able to fit everything into my schedule day because with work and everything else, but everything so far is lined up great. But yes, I have invited a plethora of stars and big names from the YouTube sphere for possible guests, but no hard feelings if they can't make it. It's all very last minute. But yeah, I do have a TEDx thingy available if I decide that I need something else to fill up some time. But yeah, gee, the last year, holy cow, it's been quite a year. A lot of stuff has happened in the background of my life, work-wise, that would make no sense to anybody outside of it. But I am now 44 years old. Mm-hmm. And everything feels like it's a lot closer than it actually is. Like when somebody brings up a movie or an event, or I see something like, what was it the other day? It was the 20th anniversary of something, or it's been 10 years since something else happened. And I'm like, has it been 10 years? Like 2013 was 10 years ago? What? All that kind of stuff. And I think back to what was going on in my life 10 years ago, and it's just boggles the mind. It's also when like between the lockdowns and everything else, when you don't have either by circumstance or design a whole lot of extra things going on in your life, save for the routine, memories from long ago feel a lot closer than they actually are. It's like the rear view mirror in your car or something. So the distance you have to reach in your mind back to something doesn't feel all that long. And so when you finally sort of acknowledge how much time has passed, it's like, oh, geez, okay. So things like that. So like, what was it? Like when I watched Back to the Future in 1985, right? And it was going back to the future of 1955. And I think now 30 years back from right now is the same amount of time that someone was traveling back in time for Back to the Future. And the 50s seemed like such a dark age, right? Compared to the 80s, even back then. But then, like my parents, I wonder I now wonder what my parents would have thought or had thought about going back in time 30 years and just how much of a sort of shock to the system that must have been from their perspective, if I have a similar perspective now. So anyway, just thoughts that I've had. Let's see. And then chat jumped again. Oh, who else is here? Tyrannus Alexandrius, the Invictus Lich, sorry. Zalba, I didn't already say hello. Shadowclaw, Tall Person. Who else is here? Sheogorath. It's really neat. And I know it's time to be sentimental, if nothing else. The fact that so many people in the chat, so many names, so many personalities, I remember seeing on the earliest days of my channel. It's really something to, and it's humbling, flattering in a way that, when I started this thing, I didn't think anybody would have any reason to want to listen to what I had to say. And that some of you have been around and hanging out and going with me on this little journey for the entire lifetime of my channel in some way, shape, or form. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, and just, like I say, humbled and bowled over by it. Derek LaRue. Sorry, chat is jumping around here. I apologize. But Derek LaRue, thank you again. another thank you. But this is Kyle. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello, chat people, Scribe and Keeve. Hope you had a great birthday, Scribe. Get yourself some Dr. Pepper. I do have a pepper jack planned in my future shortly after this stream. I wanted to keep myself relatively even-keeled for the broadcast, though. But, yep. Let's see. Who else is here? Mr. Hyde, Cartographer. Hello. And the original Shroom. Hello. Yeah, just like saying, the original Shroom. Some people I've known on here for years, and it's just... yeah, it's coming up on it'll be my 7th anniversary later this fall for YouTube, which just, again, makes me think, gosh, where is the time gone? But then I just have to look at my video catalog and I see where the time is gone for the most part. I've probably marked more events and more memories of things with you guys than real people in my life in the last 7 years, just because of how much time I put into this stuff and how many friends I've made. Well, Kieran, while you're here, do you want to plug anything or promote somebody else's channel or anything that you're up to?
Well, I have a channel of my own where I sing happy birthday to people like I just did earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then I'll stream and post videos.
Make what? Wait, sorry, what videos?
I'll post like random videos sometimes.
Oh, post random videos. Okay, I thought you said a type of video or something.
Speaking of which, I forgot to post one yesterday. I'll post it today.
Okay. Well, guys, go check out Kiefer. You just have to look up Kiefer Dam and you'll be on there. Or you can, of course, put your link in the chat if you have it handy. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Who else? Ostzan, hello. Divine Petulance, hello. Tyre Deos, thank you so much. Scribe, technology have jumped so much within the last 40 years. The 80s and 90s seem like something much simpler times. It's true. It's true. I mean, we're living in a science fiction town compared to the 80s. You know, I mean, just the way the technology has jumped, the connectivity of people across the globe within the fact that I'm able to do this right now, the way that I'm doing it, hit a couple of buttons, and suddenly I'm broadcasting worldwide and having my own live radio show. For those of you that are too young to remember, there was a time when being able to broadcast your voice with any degree to anyone else, save for having a ham radio, was a whole separate career, a whole separate industry. The fact that I'm effectively, mechanically doing the same thing right now and can do it at any time of the day that I want is, it still blows my mind. I think being able to live through as much change as maybe those in my generation have or slightly older, having the perspective of what the world was like before all this, I think is very useful because it keeps things, in perspective. Being able to go to the library and look up a book on a computer with a couple of clicks versus going to the library and having to go to the Dewey Decimal System or having to go to the card catalog, things like that. Rotary phones, we always see these sort of antique things now on YouTube. It's like, remember these things, guys? You know, cassette tapes or 8-tracks or rotary phones or an Amiga computer and all that. But yeah, trying to maintain dial-up internet, yeah, modem sounds, all that good stuff. When you're trying to load up a picture and it's like Venetian blinds, line by line loading in. Yeah, those were the days. And so, not to sound too archaic or crotchety, but I really have wondered at times what if I had grown up in this era, like everything that I am, my entire personality perspective, if I had grown up in this era, but was exposed to everything the way that things are available now and had the knowledge accessibility that is available now, and especially AI and ChatGPT, all this other stuff, would I have ended up better off or worse off for the difference? And that's the only way I can kind of look at everything that's going on and think to myself, is the next generation growing up in this environment going to end up being smarter for it? Or is it kind of going the direction of like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where we become too smart for our own good and we rely too much on technology to solve our problems for us instead of having to work them out ourselves? That's always a concern of mine. But any thoughts on that, Keeve?
I think we should use our brains more instead of being so dependent on, machines and gadgets and all that. Yeah,
the AI stuff recently is probably what concerns me the most, especially when it comes to education and just personal growth development as far as like either learning how to code or learning how to write or being able to find an answer to a question. Even though I harp quite often on the educational system or systems in this country with some of my videos, I don't believe every teacher out there is some kind of activist. And so I have a great amount of sympathy for teachers now having to compete against a kid with a smartphone being able to, look up an answer, have Chat GPT write an essay for them and everything else, and what kind of hoops they're going to have to institute to try to keep kids reined in that and actually challenge their minds and challenge their skills going forward. Let's see who else is here. Becca Fairley Becca, hello. Reject, hello. Anybody else that I missed? I probably did. Fukin Kunt, hello. How's it going? Hope you're all well. Let's see. Well, I'm running out of like babble to get. I don't know that there's anything exciting to say about my birthday other than let's see. Well, let's see. Just to make myself come across as really old. I've seen the fall of the Berlin Wall. I've seen both attacks on the World Trade Center. I've watched at least 4 or 5 different wars begin and or end. The implementation of the internet, the crash of the internet, the creation of crypto, the crash of crypto. What else? I was around for Star Wars Galaxies when it began and when it ended. World of Warcraft, yeah, I was around for when that started. Magic the Gathering, yeah, I was there when that started too. Oh my gosh, boy, oh boy, do I sound old? I have watched countless movies in my life. I have a ridiculous amount of useless movie trivia that just needs a nudge or a question or a subject to come out to trigger just an absolute fire hose of nonsense. And yeah, I started YouTube on a lark 7 years ago, and I'm still here. And a lot of you guys are still here too, either with your own channels, or I see you guys in different shows that I pop into. I see you guys in there as part of the audience. I'm like, hey, and everybody's like, hey. It's such a neat little web of community that builds up around this stuff, and I really appreciate you guys and the opportunity you guys have effectively given me as an audience to keep doing this stuff and trying to maintain some kind of foothold in the world and everything. Let's see. Oh, is Froggy here? Froggy, thank you, Froggy. Happy birthday. Appreciate it. Massive Dynamics. Tim, some call me Tim. Payar D Bayar, I see in the chat as well. Hello. Good afternoon. Well, let's see. In the absence, JB, hello. Happy birthday. Thank you so much, JB. In the absence of anyone else to talk to, shall we listen to a little TEDx?
Sure.
Okay, so let me get this queued up. Actually, close the tab on it. So this is because TEDx is on the bleeding edge of entertainment, as we know, and they have their own shorts series because, well, why wouldn't they? No, come on. Sorry, technical difficulties. I have to make sure I have all of my tabs lined up here. Oh, live television or live radio, as the case may be. Okay, now I need to get the name of the file. Yes. Put it here. Yes. There we go. And then it's about 15 seconds in before they actually start talking. And hopefully I'll avoid some of the musical cues. All right, so let's see if I can do this now. Present, share screen, this thing. There we go. All right, so this one is just 8 minutes long. It's about immigration, if you can believe it. And I have no idea what's going to be said, but let's listen. And this isn't a bingo card thing. This is just let's just listen and see if we can learn something out of it. And if anybody pops in the meantime in the waiting room, I will probably pause and bring them in. Can you hear that okay?
Me or the audience?
Sorry, what?
Were you talking to me or everybody?
Oh, you, anybody. Could you hear that? The little musical cue?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear.
Keldrig, thank you. Oh my gosh, Keldrig, thank you so much. $1 for each year of your life. And the rest of the century was put into your charity. Oh, thank you. Keldrig, that's great. Oh, thank you so much. May each of those dollars promise you another year to grace us with your... Oh, Keldrig, you're going to make me cry. Oh, man. Testing my toxic masculinity. How dare you? Thank you, Keldrick, and thank you so much for your generosity. Yeah, guys, just in case you're coming in late, there's a link at the top of the chat box to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. If you donate to me, I really appreciate it. But if you choose otherwise to donate to Leukemia Lymphoma Society for the sake of on my behalf as a birthday present, I'd really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much. Thank you, Keldrick. That's amazingly generous of you. Okay, well, let's move on.
The U.S. holds hundreds of thousands of migrants in immigration prisons each year.
Immigration prisons? Is that how they're classified by the I mean, do we know? Do you mean like, okay, I guess the question is, are we talking about people who are waiting for their processing, or are we talking about people who are waiting to be deported? Because that's two separate things, but okay.
While immigration cases are decided in federal court.
Okay, so I realize it's semantics, but prison is different than a detention facility. Just I don't know, just the categorization, sort of like the difference between the criminal justice system and the criminal legal system, things like that, but okay.
Mm-hmm. However, the process hasn't always been this way. Law professor Cesar Cuauhtemoc Garcia Hernandez points to profit incentives for local governments and private corporations as a major reason that this vulnerable population is imprisoned.
Okay, well, and this you're not going to find me saying that there hasn't been a profit motive in maintaining prisons or holding facilities or something. Most of them are handled by private industry and contracted with the government in some way, shape, or form. But these places are necessary. That's the problem. And if someone's coming to the country wanting to get in and be processed and seek asylum, which is a right under the Constitution, we have to have them stay somewhere while their claim is being processed. So could someone be taking advantage of the situation for a profit? Certainly. But the population of those facilities is coming of their own volition. And we need to have, that's why we're having to send immigrants waiting to be processed to other states now outside of the border towns because there's no room. So, okay, I don't know what the argument's going to be, but I'm curious to see.
Cesar explains how these practices developed and what we can do to change them.
Okay.
It seems unimaginable today, but we haven't always locked up migrants who are waiting for the government to decide their fate.
True, we haven't always done so, but have we seen numbers like the recent years back in the olden days?
At one time, the United States stood on the verge of abolishing immigration prisons.
Immigration prisons. Okay. Trying to tug at the heartstrings, feels like.
This was the sign of an enlightened civilization,
Oh.
the Supreme Court wrote in 1958.
1958. Okay, what were the immigration numbers at the border in 1958? How many encounters at the border do we have in 1958 compared to now? You tell me.
We were so close.
Uh-huh.
But politics and profits pushed us in the opposite direction.
Okay, you have to at least allow for the necessity of the situation as well as whatever you think is the evil of the situation. You can't, if there is nothing in his argument that at least concedes a need for some kind of detention, some kind of holding when it comes to processing people who are claiming asylum or who are bringing children across that can't be verified as whether or not their own children or not, if he doesn't at least allow for the utility of it somewhere in his argument, then we're just dealing with a straight out activist zealot. It's just the way it's going to be, but we'll see.
With the support of Republicans and Democrats, today we lock up men, we lock up women, and we lock up children. Why? The only motive, the only logic behind it is profit and politics. You see, I have a bit of a bias here, if you can believe it. I have family members who work the border and have done work at the border and have seen what goes on at the border. And trust me, there is a need
to have places to put people who you cannot verify their backstories, their origins, or most especially their custodyship or guardianship of children. There is a need for these things. And so he again, I'm jumping ahead maybe, I don't know, but he has to at least allow for that, I would hope.
But in our past, I see hope for the future.
Okay.
We can take clear steps toward abolishing immigration prisons.
Abolishing, getting rid of them entirely. Oh, okay. Well, then he's not conceding anything on the other side, is he? Okay, great.
Most people think of Ellis Island as the place that welcomed generations of newcomers to the United States. It did that.
Yeah.
But it was also an immigration prison with a...
God, he's really leaning into that concept, isn't he? Yeah, a processing center, immigration prison. Okay.
an ironic view of the Statue of Liberty.
Uh-huh.
By the 1950s, the Ellis Island facility needed to be repaired, replaced, or discarded.
Why was that? What was it? Because of volume? Was it because of increasing volume and lack of infrastructure? Huh? You gonna tell us why?
The government of the war hero turned Republican president, Dwight Eisenhower, decided to shut it down.
What does his party affiliation have to do with it? Do you understand the vicissitudes and evolutions of the parties since the 1950s? You think a Republican from the 1950s would even recognize a Republican from today? Okay.
But then, the United States built the largest immigration prison system in the world.
Prison system. You mean they had to expand Ellis Island's functionality because of volume and infrastructure? Maybe? Are you going to at least admit to the utility of the processing centers? Or are you just asking for open borders? I assume you're asking for open borders.
Republicans and Democrats worked together, pointing to the prison's barbed wire to uphold the law and protect you from me.
Us from you? Oh, who are you supposed to represent?
Illegals?
Well, not necessarily even that. If somebody comes up to the border without, preamble and they seek asylum, under the Constitution, they have a right to do that. Asylum seeking does not automatically mean you get in. It means you have to present your case to an immigration judge and an immigration court, and they have to assess, like, okay, do you qualify? Because there's some very strict legal check marks you have to hit in your personal situation. In order to qualify for asylum status or eventual residency and so on. If you're coming from an area that just got hit by a massive earthquake or something, yeah, you could seek refugee status and it would probably be a lot easier pathway because it's an obvious emergency. If you're fleeing a war zone, similar thing. If you can qualify as a refugee from a demonstrable danger or unavoidable hardship in your home country, that's an easier path. But if you're just walking in and you're coming from a country that isn't currently experiencing a meteor strike or something, it takes a little bit more, and you have to present evidence and you have to show cause that you qualify for these things. And in the meantime of that process, where do you go? Because it's that fine line between opening the border and being humanitarian enough to give somebody a place to stay while we process their claim. And this is the balancing act that's been going on for a long time. Are you a prisoner? Well, in a way, you've given yourself up over to another sovereign country to be judged as to whether or not you can enter the country. And in that interim period, you've kind of given yourself up. And you're at the whim of the country at their pleasure as to whether or not you'll either have to be held while you're being processed, or maybe if you have a family member you can confirm that you can stay with and be monitored in the meantime. There are other options. But anyway, let's keep going.
When Haitians started arriving in large numbers, Carter turned to detention.
Well, again, you don't know. if you don't know if someone's a criminal, if you don't know if someone is escaping the law, if you don't know if someone has been trafficked, what do you do to try to determine that before letting that person out into the country without knowing if either they pose a danger to others or if they themselves are in danger? And especially when it comes to children. You want to abolish holding facilities entirely. How would you solve for that problem of somebody escaping the law in their home country? What would you do with this person to try to work to verify that if it took longer than 12 hours or something? Just let them go?
In the 1980s, Reagan followed by jailing Cubans and Central Americans. George H.W. Bush turned to the military base at Guantanamo, Cuba, to jail migrants.
Are you going to start talking about any Democratic presidents by any chance? Or are you just going to talk about the Republican ones? Because I noticed you didn't talk about Clinton. You're going to mention Obama?
Also,
President Clinton.
So I'm wondering if he's going to bring up the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965.
Well, it's possible. I mean, he's skipped from the 50s and he's gone over God knows how much other legislation that's been put into place since over half a century ago now. So, but now he's like, but I love the fact that he went from Reagan to George H.W. Bush. You know, just like, oh wait, did he say George H.W. or George Walker? Oh, did he say H.W.? Okay, I might have misspoken. I thought he said George W. Bush. All right, so if he brings up Clinton next, then we're okay. Because I want to make sure he's not just harping on Republican presidents, because that would be something.
W. Bush.
Sorry, I want to back up just a little bit, make sure I wasn't.
George H.W. Bush.
Okay, H.W. My
turned
mistake.
to the military base at Guantanamo, Cuba, to jail migrants.
Okay.
President Clinton left them there. This isn't a partisan issue. This is a profits issue.
Or it's just a general national security and border issue that goes beyond party because it's just a national issue, regardless of who's in charge. Every president has to deal with this in some way, shape, or form. But your pitch is eliminate holding facilities. All right, so what is to be... Okay, again, sorry for being a broken record. If he's going to make a decent argument, he has to at least first concede the sales pitch for why we need holding facilities. Then he needs to shoot that down with a better argument. And also, and if nothing else, he has to at least address the inherent utility of them for the process and how that would be somehow taken up elsewise in the absence of holding facilities.
To local governments and private businesses, immigration prisons are a financial spigot. The two largest private prison corporations in the United States, Core Civic and the Geo Group, hire people.
Oh, how are they doing in El Paso right now? How's that whole prison industrial complex on the border doing in El Paso right now? Or all the other states that are having immigrants waiting for asylum processing shipped to their borders? How's that working out? Or is it because the facilities that we have are overrun because there's so many people coming in and we have nowhere to put them all?
In out-of-the-way locations where decent-paying jobs are hard to come by. Down in South Texas.
Wait, decent pay. Wait, what? Okay, so the holding facilities are opening up in places where there are desperate people for jobs. So they're nothing but vultures. They're preying on people that don't have a lot of job opportunities, as well as the people they're putting in there. Okay, I mean, all right, but again, any idea on why we have those things?
Jobs are hard to come by. Down in South Texas. Head north from the border, and eventually you will catch the sharp stench of onions filling the air.
Okay, before I go on with onions, your boy Pat is in the chat. Your boy Pat is in the chat, another longtime YouTuber. We were on live streams together back in the olden days of like Based Mama and things. Actually, I think I met Pat on a Based Mama stream back in the olden days. So if you guys haven't checked out your boy Pat's channel, go check that out. Look him up. And Pat, feel free to put your link in the chat if you don't already have it. Let's see. Was there Buckwheat? Buckwheat. Thank you so much. Happy birthday. Appreciate it. Those ain't real, dude. How is it going? Thank you so much. Let's see who else there's. Scanner Daftly. Anybody else I missed that I can see in the meantime? I think that's everybody. Hope so. If I missed you, I apologize. Okay.
The local economy of Raymondville, that's the county seat of Willacy County.
Oh, real quick. Your boy Pat, speaking of the devil, there he is. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Pat.
I was in the chat and now I'm here. What's going on?
Yeah, you're here. Welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for popping in.
All right, there you have it. I just showed back. I just popped up at the house right there. You know, jumped on Twitter and I saw I had a message. I'm like, oh, Scribe, oh, birthday scene. You know I'm gonna come.
Yay! Thank you. Appreciate it. How are you doing?
That's it. I'm doing great. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Yeah, guys. So your boy Pat, like history in the making here. Been around on YouTube longer than I have, and been doing videos and content forever. And you should really go check him out. One of the let's see. I'm trying to remember. Did I do a? I did a criminally undersubbed video for you way back in the olden days, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah. There is. Yeah, this is old Scribe lore. So way back when I and all the other sort of junior YouTube group that started up around the same time I did, like Tailed Feature and Sinatra and Irate Alex and Ranting Monkey, I think. I was just starting out and I said, boy, oh boy, this is neat. I'm getting subscribers and everything. And I tell you what, when I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to start advertising other channels that I think need some attention. Because now that I have this huge audience, I try to spread the love and everything. So during the course of my early days, a comment or a phrase kept coming up amongst different people at different times who I knew didn't know each other. They said, you are criminally undersubbed. And as I want to do, to take interesting phrases that I come across and turn them into titles of series, I did a very brief series called Criminally Undersubbed. And Pat was one. I think Amada Wolfchild was another one. And there's one that I had to take down. I still have it, but I don't post it anymore because I was asked to take it down. It was by a guy that doesn't do YouTube anymore, but boy, howdy, he made some hilarious critique videos. And he just went by Gabriel or depending on how you pronounced it. But he was, he's foreign, so, whatever. But, he asked me before he left YouTube if I could take that down since he wasn't going to do content anymore. And I still have it. I wish I could share it with you, but I want to honor his request. But yeah, there was a lot of people back then that I wanted to prop up. But then, Kiefer Dan, we're getting a lot of background noise from your mic. Is there on StreamYard, if you go to settings and under audio, there should be a echo cancellation checkbox. Do you have that on?
The check is there.
Okay, and do you have automatically adjust mic volume on or off?
The check is on.
Turn that off for a second.
All right, and it's showing me a volume control.
Yeah, so bring that down just a little bit below halfway.
All right. I don't know what's going
might...
on. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, the background air or wind moving past your microphone was getting a bit.
I don't hear anything other than my cat purring.
Okay, yes. Say something else real quick.
Hello, everybody.
Is she still loud enough for you, Pat?
I can hear.
Pat, yeah. Okay. Just keep it there. That might mitigate it somewhat. Thank you, Kiefer Dan.
There are two people in the chat, Esmes and Unfair Ophelia.
The what now?
Esmes and Unfair Ophelia are in chat.
Oh, hi guys, Esmes, Unfair Ophelia. How you doing? Thank you so much for popping in. Yeah, sorry, technical stuff, live TV and all that. But yeah, so I did this series called Criminally Undersubbed, and a lot of people liked it and everything. And then I started getting random requests from people I'd never heard of before, going like, "Hey, can you do one for me?" And at the time, I was like, "I don't know who you are." And I got enough of those, and I was still in my sort of early days of YouTube and sort of interacting with YouTubers and things. And so rather than tell people I don't know your stuff and why would I promote you, I just stopped doing it because it was inviting too much little dramas and like sourness from people that I had no idea about, and I was just kind of like, And this is before I was Yeah, this is before I was really using Twitter. I was starting to get it's back when YouTube, you could send messages on YouTube. This is how old we are, of course. There was actually a messaging system on YouTube, guys. You could actually send private messages back and forth. And that's actually how I found out. I got a message from an ex-girlfriend of mine that was like, hey, I heard a voice on this Ranting Monkey show the other day, and I don't know if you're this. You sound a lot like my ex-boyfriend because he said this, this, and this, and you said this, this, and this. And if you're not him, have fun on YouTube. But if you are him, hi. And I'm like, and this is early. This is early days. This is back when there was a reasonable fear that if you said the wrong thing on social media, that some person somewhere would try to like spike your real life and call your employer and stuff like that. And this was like within the first, I don't know, 6 months or year or whatever. And so I got a real spike of paranoia. I'm like, oh, am I that recognizable? Are people I know are actually listening to other people? I thought, of all YouTubers, Ranting Monkey is someone my ex-girlfriend's listening. What? So I was like, no, it's totally not me. And I totally don't still have that love seat your aunt gave you that you left at my place those years ago. But yeah, no, but she was fine with it. And she wasn't like trying to get me in trouble or nothing. She was just trying to make sure she wasn't going crazy hearing my voice on there. So that was fun. But yeah, it's been a lot of little projects I've started and abandoned over time that didn't quite catch or had some problems with it or whatever. But I've thought about maybe trying to restart that again. But I've gone a different route with, I think, my true crime talk show by trying to bring on creators that maybe people haven't heard of before, or try to bring different creators on who haven't met each other before, and trying to get things cooking that way. But anyway, do you pay attention at all to the immigration stuff going on, Pat?
I'm on and off when it comes to the whole entire thing. The main thing I'm basically tripping off of is how, what's going up there in Chicago. How they bust like a lot of immigrants up there, and now you got like a lot of the black community just up in arms about the whole entire thing. Well, they're up in arms about a whole lot of stuff. But it's just a trip of how they're just basically like, like, y'all got all these people coming in here, moving to our neighborhood, and now I'm saying we don't have any resources coming our way and all that right there. And I'm just like, this is what y'all voted for, remember? Y'all the ones that was out there in the streets talking about let them in, and we're a sanctuary city. And now you have to put your money where your mouth is, and all of a sudden there's a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing all over the place. Like there was like right now, I keep bringing it up because it is the most sort of out there example. El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas is suffering from a literal humanitarian crisis. They have more people coming in from the Border Patrol and immigration for people that need a place to stay while they're being processed, because the holding facilities are now being effectively only used for like the most extreme cases, and anybody that they can kind of just let pass through or have already been verified or something in some way, shape, or form, they move them out and they have to put them somewhere temporarily until they can be processed. And El Paso is just becoming a real crisis situation. You see the stories out of there. And I did a video, strangely enough, a couple of years ago with a representative from El Paso, representing El Paso, doing a little promotional video talking about how, Donald Trump's immigration policies are terrible and they are our neighbors and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, I get it, but look at what's going on down there right now. I mean, and it's credit to the people in El Paso and the administration. They're doing what they can to be as hospitable and compassionate and humanitarian as necessary. But it just goes to show we are not prepared for the amount of just human beings, just setting aside whatever you think about immigration laws or anything else, just the necessity of infrastructure and resources to try to house and take care of people who are waiting for their day in immigration court per the law. And now we have this guy here talking about, well, we need to eliminate all such holding facilities, except you need to have a way station for processing people who if some stranger shows up to your doorstep and you have no idea who they are, but they tell you, oh, I'm a nice person. Well, also, this child I have with me is my son. do you just believe them off the top of your head? It's like, okay, that kid's not being trafficked. This person's not being forced to do this. They're not being pushed along by some smuggler on the other side or something. We still need an intermediary step between showing up at the border and being, housed or living somewhere else in between that and your day in court.
Yeah,
and so.
And it's like how you were saying earlier, like the person that's basically sitting up here talking about we need to eliminate all this, housing stuff right there. Yeah, they'll say that until, like how you say, until immigration is knocking on their doorstep and all that right there. Then all of a sudden it's like when it's moving in their communities and their neighborhoods and all that right there, that's when it becomes a problem with them. But they'll virtue signal and say, oh, let them in and do this right there, so long as you don't put them beside me.
Yeah, that was the point that like DeSantis made a few months back, where he bust a whole bunch of immigrants that had been sent to Florida up to, I think, what was it, Martha's Vineyard or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they were like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. How dare you use them as pawns? Here, we'll help you find other places to live away from us. It was just. Like you said, put your money where your mouth is. If you really mean this, then you should make yourself available to taking up the problem, because it's not just a border town problem. It's a national problem. It's a national issue that needs to be addressed. And what's the solution? I don't know. The real solution is the countries where people are coming from need to be places where people don't want to escape. But how do you make that change? Well, you can't unless the people within those countries make the choices and the changes necessary to do so. So what do you do when you have millions of people over the course of months? Like the number of contacts and everything over the first 3 months of last year was something like 2 million people or something. It was crazy. And it's only going up time by time. And now with Title 42 having expired, it's likely to go up even more. Anyway, let's get back to our speaker, and maybe he'll finally get around to talking about what he has in the alternative.
Before you do that right there,
sure.
It's like, and a lot of them are basically coming over here, like I said, by the thousands and the millions because they're being promised free stuff, like stuff that they're resources that they're not getting it in the country they're getting away from. They're saying, oh, well, come over here, like we got that right there,
Yeah, or they're being told half truths and lies by the people that they know, because the grapevine of what is or is not true by the time you reach the border could be anything. And I don't doubt that a lot of people coming this way are in desperate circumstances. I don't doubt it. But how do you mitigate that? Well, part of their solution is putting border processing centers in the home countries. But I've got a whole couple of videos on that. But all right, so let's see. He wants to eliminate the holding. Now, if his alternative is to put processing centers in the home countries instead of holding people here, I wonder if he was ahead of the curve on this, because this is an excerpt, I think, from a previous TEDx from the past, is what they do with these short things. Real quick, thank you, Dax O'Ryan. Amen. They need to have courage to fix themselves. They're not going to get any better. They're just bringing it with them. Nothing will change this way. Like I say, the ultimate solution is if these countries get their acts together. But what incentive do they have to change? If they're super corrupt and the people in charge are always voted in and end up being corrupt, or if they're taken over by gangs or cartels or whatever. And what do you do with this vicious cycle? And it's one of those things where it's like, is it our problem to fix? Is it America's problem to try to quote unquote fix these countries? Shouldn't it be them fixing themselves? Do we start to sort of take custody of these countries in some way to solve our own border problems?
Yeah, it's like
where's the line drawn?
It's like we're the babysitters of them,
Yeah, and we shouldn't be.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trying to fix the problem. They're just trying to get up in here and and trying to get their votes so they can stay in power.
Well, that's also part of the weird stuff about just trying to welcome to the country. You also can now vote, even if you're not a citizen. Because you live in this country, so now you can vote. Like, I don't know. Anyway,
of onions filling the air. The local economy of Raymondville, that's the county seat of Willacy County. It runs on produce.
Okay.
On produce and on prisons.
Oh, for crying out loud! And there's college towns that run on produce and colleges. Okay. Thank you, guy in his room. Happy birthday. Nice to know a fellow Taurus. My birthday is Thursday. Well, happy pre-birthday to you then, guy in his room. Also, guy in his room he did an interview with me many moons ago. He usually interviews stand-up comedians and things like that, but he invited me on at one time, and I did an interview. So go check out his YouTube channel, and if somebody can find it and pop it in the chat there real quick, because I don't have it handy. But thank you, guy in his room, so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so onions, produce, and prisons.
Tucked behind a state jail, the Willacy County Detention Center houses federal immigration prisoners in large canvas tents.
Okay.
A few years ago, this facility shut down.
Why do they using tents? Is it because they have more people than space? Are they just putting them out in tents because they're cruel, or because it's the only practical thing to try to handle the volume of people coming in? Thank you, Deco. Happy birthday to you, Scribe for life. Yes, right for life. Thank you, Deco. Another name from years and years gone by. Again, I appreciate you guys and recognizing you guys as you come in and seeing you over the years. Okay, and so why do they have them in tents? You tell us all these stories, you don't give us any context.
No.
After inmates rebelled.
Wait. After inmates rebelled? Wait. I missed something there real quick. Cannibalistic Wizard. Hello. Let's try that again a little bit. Sorry, let me back up.
A few years ago, this facility shut down after inmates rebelled.
Yeah, well, if there was a prison riot, I can imagine.
And when that happened, I was not surprised, because back when I used to represent clients there, stories of rape, harassment, and abuse were common.
Well, it was a federal prison, right? Or was it a federal detention center? You see, when you start saying prison in relation to immigration holding centers, it gets confusing. Because, yeah, prisons aren't very nice places to be. If this stuff's happening in a holding facility, I mean, I can imagine things like that do happen. Ideally, they shouldn't. But, all right, there are no necessary utilities to holding facilities for immigrants in processing at all. They're all bad, and you want to get rid of all of them.
Eventually, the county lost a few hundred jobs. Even the Walmart shut down.
Where did they put the people? They have to put them somewhere. So,
but then, in the summer of 2018, when the refurbished prison was ramping up to reopen, the county's elected officials celebrated. Why was the county so interested?
Jobs.
It owned the prison, and the private company just ran it. Having prisoners on the inside meant that the private company could hire guards and it could hire nurses.
So you mean American citizens could contribute to the economy through honest labor?
Yeah, they created jobs.
Necessary labor? I mean, again, where do you suggest that people in the process of being go through immigration court, where do you suggest they be put, especially if you're still trying to determine the bona fides of their backgrounds and their stories? What I'm broken record. What is your alternative argument?
And it meant that the county could pay its bills.
Yeah, heaven forfend. In areas where industry or population or anything else doesn't bring in money to the economy, and you're trying to keep prison facilities, holding facilities, whatever, away from the general population, what would you want these people to be unemployed and starve? What? And for a necessary service. Okay, yeah. Money makes the world go around. That's not an argument against the utility of holding facilities.
With support from Washington down to Willacy County, it's a good time to be in the business of locking up migrants.
And?
But we can't forget that these are people who we're talking about.
Yes, they are people. People that are strangers to the whole process. That's why they are in holding facilities. That's why they're being processed. They have a right to claim amnesty. They do not have a right to just go out freely into the country and never be found again. Then what's the point of having a border? What's the point of having border rules?
But Scribe, no human being is illegal, don't you know?
Hey, Columba.
From kids who are too young to.
Yeah, kids. Kids.
Yeah.
Well, where do you want to put the kids? Just send them out into the wilderness? Do you know why they're in the country? Do you know who they belong to? Do they have anywhere that they can go? I'm sorry for keep stopping, but like every time he brings up, it's like, yeah, won't somebody please think of the children? Yeah, I am thinking of the children in trying to figure out, should they be here, and is it safe for them to be here, and who brought them here, and why?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just trust that anybody showing up with a kind face has a kind motivation. I'm sorry. I wish I could be that naive about the world and about people. I have heard stories that I cannot repeat on YouTube from my family members on the border when it comes to children and the other things that they've witnessed and the kinds of things they've had to deal with. I'm sorry, once you actually full front experience that or witness that, you take everything into question because you have to. If you get it wrong, man, if you get it wrong and some kid ends up in the wrong hands or some lady or whatever else, and you find out after the fact, and I'm not making anything up here. This is stuff that I've heard. There's no going back from that. You have to be cautious. You have to be overcautious when it comes to people's lives. Yeah, these are human beings. These are human beings who could be in dire danger if you make the wrong decision about where to send them or what to sort of just like pass on. I really wish our speaker would be a little bit more pragmatic here.
To be asked their opinions to adults with long-time ties to the United States.
Long-time ties? What qualifies as a long-time tie?
Kamyar Samimi.
Sorry?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah. Okay. Let's back a little.
To adults with long-time ties to the United States. Kamyar Samimi had a green card and 40 years in the United States.
40 years on a green card? Really? Okay. How long does a green card last? I don't know, honestly. It seems like a long time. In the course of 40 years of the green card, why didn't this person go through the steps of becoming a citizen?
10 years.
Yeah, green card. Yeah. I thought it was a limited time. Yeah, green card lasts 10 years. So, and how many times can you renew it? Yeah, but still, again, if you're going to spend 40 years in one country, you'd think you might as well just, go through the motions of getting. Sorry.
There's no limit, I guess.
There's no limit. Okay, all right.
But at 40 years, it's like, you should have been done, jumped through all the hoops and became a U.S. citizen by that time.
Yeah. That's half of a normal lifetime practically. But okay. So what's the rest of the story?
ICE showed up at his door.
Yeah.
And took him down to a private prison. Within days, he was dead.
Whoa. Okay. How?
The government never got around to deciding if he should be deported.
Okay. Well. Hold on. Okay. You have jumped a lot of chapters in this story. Okay. Was his green card still valid? Question number one. Okay. Well, I guess the first question is, why did ICE detain him in the first place? If everything was above board, if his green card was valid, and he'd renewed it 4 times, which seems bizarre to me, but okay, let's say that happened just for the sake of argument. Why did ICE seize him? And then from that, how did he die?
In this topsy-turvy world.
No.
He's leaving out a lot of. You can't sit up here and say that right there, saying this guy was on a green card for 40 years, and all of a sudden one day they took him to what I don't know if it's an actual prison or one of these detention holding places and stuff like that they just see as prison, and then say and he died and not give no context.
No.
You're leaving out a lot of stuff, man.
Thank you, Devil Fruit Zero. Stranger danger is a thing of the past. Happy birthday, Scribe. Oh, yeah, things are great now. It's great. Yeah. So somebody online says, come to my house. I'll be fine. Oh, okay. Yeah. But no, that is some weak sauce right there. Okay, you don't bring up an example like that And yeah, okay, none of that. That is what we would call a weightless example and leaves out vital context on the bingo card, because you give us no backstory to that and how this applies to your argument. Okay, if you're going to say we need to abolish immigration, quote unquote, prisons, all right, how does this story support your argument, support your complaint? How did he die in prison? Because if he died of a heart attack, if he died from a blood clot, if he tripped over and hit his head, and also, why did I see, if he was all fine, if he had his green card 40 years, why did I seize him in the first place? Then now you got 3 minutes left, dude. You haven't convinced me of nothing so far.
We feel better when we lock up kids with their mothers.
Wait, what? Let me back up. Sorry. Let me just make sure
In this topsy-turvy world, we feel better when we lock up kids with their mothers.
Would you rather, if we've determined that they're their mothers, you'd rather we lock them up separately? Are you for family separation? Wait, am I missing something here?
Or when people don't meet the same end as Mr. Samimi?
What end did he meet? You haven't told us.
Is this really the best that we can do?
Okay, well, what do you suggest in the alternative? We've gone through 6 minutes of this stuff, and I'm still waiting for you to give your pitch as to, well, if not holding facilities to do what they do, what do you suggest in the alternative?
To move the path to a world that's free of immigration prisons does not begin by pretending that migrants are perfect.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, humans are fallible creatures. You're right. Migrants are people. People are not perfect. You're right. Okay, if we're not pretending that they're perfect, if we're pretending that there could be concerns, then where are you going with this?
It starts with a reality check.
Okay, make your argument. This is your time. What is your argument?
Immigration law tells us that migrants are aliens.
Do you know the definition of the word alien? I love how they take one definition of a word and turn it into a pejorative.
Yeah, try to make it like a boogeyman type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. They are alien to this country. They are not native to this country. That is what alien means in the legal definition of things. But then you're a lawyer, so you should know that. It's not dehumanizing unless you decide to dehumanize people simply for not being from this country. But okay.
Okay, here we go. Alien, a foreigner, especially one who is not a naturalized citizen of the country where they are living. That's the definition.
Yep. Yeah, and he's a lawyer, and he deals with legal nuance, I would think. And so now we're back to this. Someone got their feelings hurt because a word they don't like was said. Okay, still haven't gotten to the point where you've convinced me that we should get rid of holding facilities.
But we all know that migrants are not aliens.
Yes, they are.
By definition. Dude, by definition. All right, how about this? How about trespassers? You like trespassers better? Intruders?
Invaders, that's what I call them.
Strangers? How about strangers? You like strangers better? Does that make you feel better? I mean, what word would make you feel less bad in a definition legal context? If that is your hang up for this talk, then it was time not well spent.
Migrants are just people.
Aliens are people. They can be people. Okay, I'm not gonna belabor this any further. No.
And like most people, most of the time, migrants are profoundly ordinary.
We don't know that for a fact, dude. Come on. You are a lawyer, all right? You say you're a lawyer. I'm going to take you at your word. You have to understand due process And especially when you have a stranger show up to your doorstep saying they are this person and they're under these circumstances. And by the way, this is my child. Do you take them at their word or do you trust but verify? You're a lawyer. You have to understand the necessity of this process. It makes no sense to me. I give you at least enough credit to either you're a terrible lawyer or you're being disingenuous right now. One of the two. Thank you, John Miller, for the Game Over Ghost Hippo. Haven't seen that one in a long time. Thank you, John Miller, so much. All right, we try to speed run this a little bit more.
Ordinary people asked to do the extraordinary. Wage your final fight to stay in this country while you are locked up far away from family or friends.
Okay, hold on. Asked to, no, required to by law, and them coming all this way away from their family and friends, whatever walls they ended up within was their choice, hopefully. Or they were forced into it. They were blackmailed. They were smuggled. They were enslaved. Do you know for a fact they weren't? Do you want to make sure that that might not be the case before you start letting somebody into the country? Oh, what do we have to do to determine that? Oh, that's right. We have to hold them in somewhere safe, hopefully, and then process them and determine what the truth is. You know, finding of truth, Mr. Lawyer.
Where lawyers are hard to come by.
Yeah, well, that is part of the problem. We have a personnel and infrastructure problem when it comes to the border. We had Mayorkas, head of the DHS, on one of the Sunday shows, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, effectively pleading on a public forum for more people, more resources, more infrastructure. And you would think that those conversations would already be happening behind the scenes and that the people in charge would have accounted for this possibility, specifically about Title 42 ending, 2 years ago, when they came in knowing there was a clock on it. And yet here we are. We do need more lawyers. Yes, to process people quickly and figure out, are they allowed to be in the country or do they get sent back? That's what we need. We need more people and more resources and more infrastructure to house and take care of people during this process. But you want to get rid of it all. And where are they supposed to go again? Still waiting for that one.
Having a lawyer just means that the courts are more likely to reach a fair and a just conclusion.
Yes.
We can lock up migrants.
We have to.
But we don't have to.
Oh, okay. Then you've got, okay, dude, you've got less than 2 minutes now. What is your proposal?
We could invest in justice.
What?
You
You want to invest in justice. Okay, so you want more courts, more judges, more lawyers to process these people more quickly. I agree. What does that have to do with holding facilities? Okay, okay. How do you define justice? If it's not somewhere to house people while they're being processed, what do you suggest in the alternative? I'm still waiting.
We could make sure that every migrant has a fair chance of putting their best legal case forward.
What does that have to do with holding facilities? Again, if you're arguing for more and experienced immigration attorneys and more judges and more opportunities to process people more quickly with a larger border infrastructure and immigration court infrastructure, I'm on your side. If that's what you've been arguing this whole time or leading up to, hey, in sentiment without knowing the details, because you're not much big on context, but I'm on your side in that point. But what does that have to do with holding facilities? Okay, you've got, again, less than 2 minutes.
Because immigration prisons don't get us out of a problem. Immigration prisons are the problem.
These are two separate issues, dude. Two separate issues. Personnel to process asylum claims is different than saying we need to get rid of holding facilities.
He keeps saying that there are a problem, but he's not giving a reason why. And that's what we've basically been waiting on.
Yeah. If you wanted to, you have to describe the problem. You have to at least concede the argument from the other side and then tell us why their argument is weaker against your argument against it. And you haven't done that. And you're a lawyer. This is not a good showing if I was going to hire you to be my lawyer.
This making an argument, trying to prove your case is what you do for a living, and not hitting the marks here. Sorry, let me back up a little bit. I cut him off a little bit.
Immigration prisons don't get us out of a problem. Immigration prisons are the problem. They blind us to the past when we did things differently. And they distract us from the money-making tentacles that tie our future to the prison gates.
Okay, you have to pay for guards, you have to pay for administrators, you have to pay for upkeep, you have to pay for construction, you have to pay in order to feed people, house people, clothe people. Yes, money is what makes the world go around. That is not an argument against the utility of holding facilities in the immigration process. You are utterly failing to give us a cogent argument against them or what you would offer otherwise. This is okay.
But the thing is,
yeah,
liberty is too precious for any of us to lose it because politicians want votes and private corporations want money.
There is no smuggling. There are no criminals escaping justice in other countries. There is no danger in letting anybody into the country willy-nilly, without checking, without verifying. That's what you're telling me. That is all I'm hearing from you right now. And that's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's patently ridiculous. That's it? Okay, we got closing music. That's it. That was the core of this guy's argument, and he made no argument.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, we just need to get rid of these places, like, but never said why. I guess because he just don't like them.
Yeah, sometimes in places where you house a whole bunch of people in confined spaces, bad things happen. Therefore, we need to get rid of them.
I guess because that guy was killed, but he didn't even go into detail as to why or how he was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, no, he said he died. He didn't say he was killed.
Oh,
that's two different things. Like, I mean, it's curious. I mean, he's a lawyer and he's picking his words very carefully. So that story, I assume, if I knew that guy's name and I could look up his situation, the guy that he mentioned in the prison, we could probably find out the facts. But it's more telling that he said nothing about the circumstances around that, but wants to lean on that as an example in defense of his argument. Yeah. And then doesn't tell us, like, okay, well, did a prison guard kill him, or did the prison industrial complex murder him or something? Why aren't you saying he did or was? Anyway, so there you go. There's a TEDx short for this stream that's gone on almost as long as a TED Excellence. Yeah, I'm gonna start wrapping things up real quick here because I need to have some lunch. And I didn't expect this to go on too long. And also, I'm just, boy, oh boy, guys, I got to tell you, I'm bowled over by everybody just showing up on a random Monday with a birthday stream. And I appreciate all the well wishes and everything else. Ebony Williams, I didn't say hello earlier. Faithless, who else is here that is a TC? Make sure I try to get everybody I can see. Shiro Amada, how are you doing? Kunto Hair, I'll try to say that for the YouTube censors. Green Badger Outdoors. Anybody else that I've missed? I'm scrolling up. If I haven't said hello to you already, please make yourself known in the chat, and I'll try to say hello before we wrap up. Spittle Buggies, did I already say hello? I hope I did. Anyway, the floor is yours, guys, for a second. Pat, you got any projects coming up? Anything you want to plug? Anybody else you want to shout out to?
Well, right now, like I should have like a live stream coming up like in the next couple of days. I could probably do it like tomorrow, Wednesday. Try to get through there because Thursday I'm going to be busy because my youngest daughter, the last one, she's finally walking that aisle and receiving her diploma. She's graduating.
Yay!
Nice.
Yeah. My son graduated Saturday, so oh my God, man.
Oh wow, gee, you just got caps and gowns all over the place.
Yeah, they're all grown up.
Oh man. Yeah, guys, go check out your boy Pat. You've got two different channels. I don't want to misstate. What are your channels?
Well, I got the live stream that I'm working on right now. Like now, the Psycho Rick one is like I've been trying to work on this like New Patrick channel, which is basically a pretty much laid back channel where I basically have fun on that one right there. So I haven't had much time to work on the Psycho Rick right there. So I'm in the process of basically bringing that one to a close because with this new channel that I'm bringing on and everything I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get it to where I can like live stream and like interview a lot of people. And I got a lot of people that I've been talking to online, and they'll say like, yeah, I'll come on there, I'll do your show and things like that. We got to set up a whole lot of stuff.
Cool.
So I've been working on that, and it hasn't left me so much time for Psycho Rick. So now I'm in the process of basically like ending that, but it's like I want to end it on my promise of, I was going to do 100 like rest in peace episodes, and right now I think I'm on 84, so I got to make like 16 episodes on that right there. And so I got to put out a video, like seeing if people want, like requests of like, okay, who would you like to see me do a rest in peace on right there for these next 16 episodes, try to get them up in there. And once I reach that 100, then I'll just basically, call it quits on that channel right now. So I'll still leave it up, but I just basically call it quits so I can just basically concentrate on, the Yo Boy live stream channel and, this Luke Patrick channel that I'm working on.
Okay. Well, hey, be sure to put the links to your channels in the chat while you have a chance. And if you need if you need an interview guest at some point, you just let me know. We'll figure something out.
Oh yeah, I'm looking up a lot of people, both
cool.
And the main thing about it is like on this channel right here, I'm gonna try to keep it as less political as I can, try to get the the outside, like, okay, what do you do for fun? Like a lot of people do speak a lot of politics on here, but like, what do you do for fun with the, do you play games and all, all this stuff right there? Just shooting the shit.
Yeah, more Joe Rogan than Meet the Press.
Yeah.
Let's see. Andrew Joyner, hello. Who else is here? Oh, Astan, thank you so much for the good job, Dogcat Fox. Oh, Dogcat Fox. Let's see. Who shall I do? Oh, how about I don't have a Your Boy Pat Dogcat Fox. I thought I did. I need to get one from you. But I do have.
Wowie wow.
I do have a Keeverdam Dogcat Fox. I got to get a wowie wow from you at some point. I got to get a little sound clip from you, and I'll work on that. Who else? Thank you, Andrew Joyner, so much for the fist bump exercising pair. Who else is here? Road Dog, how's it going? Thank you so much for the happy birthday. Appreciate it. And anybody else that I missed or didn't get a hello to? Original Stream, did I say hello? Well, hello to you. And yeah, Pat's channel link is there in the chat now. Channel link in the chat. Keeverdam, put your link to your channel in the chat as well.
All right.
Be sure to put that there. Thank you so much for the happy birthday song. I really do appreciate it. I want to give a quick shout out to all of my old school YouTube friends that I can remember off the top of my head. I'm going to feel bad if I don't get you. Sinatra Says, Tailed Feature, Irate Alex, Ranting Monkey, Satsu 2 Cents, Miss Misa, somewhere out there, even though she doesn't do YouTube anymore. Yeah, Miss Misa. Who else do I want to think about here real quick?
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Well, here's one. Porco Dio. Remember Porco Dio?
Porco, I think I do.
Yeah, Porco Dio from way back in the day. Again, some of these guys don't do YouTube anymore, but and also shout out to some of my inspirations for doing the channel. Hagbard Celine doesn't do YouTube anymore. Skeptor, as far as I know, doesn't do YouTube anymore. Who else? Old school Sargon. And and Mr. Medicare. Just want to give a shout out real quick to Mr. Medicare somewhere out there. He, as far as I know, he stopped streaming now. He's he's not in good shape. Last I knew, he's not in good shape. Fingers crossed that something comes along to make that guy's life better and improve. But once in a while, I'll just be listening to somebody on their stream or something, and they'll say a phrase or bring up a topic or something, and immediately in my head, Mr. Medicare's voice starts talking about that same thing that I listened to years ago. Great inspiration. One of the best YouTubers on the platform. If you guys don't know about Mr. Medicare, aka the Internet Aristocrat, look up Internet Aristocrat. Look up Mr. Medicare. People have been archiving his stuff for years. It's probably the only way you're going to be able to see it because he erases all his stuff after he does it. He's like the Flying Dutchman, just a ghost in the night kind of thing. But you listen to his old stuff, his Tumblrisms, his Internet Insanity series. Excellent stuff. Bruno Montiero, hello. And I hope I got everybody a hello in there. If I missed you, I apologize. If you're lurking, if you're in the future, hello. Programming notes. I'll be here Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for a official episode of TED Excellence, where I'll talk about an off-brand TED Talk, a full one, about a subject I haven't chosen yet, because TEDx Dump Day is usually Tuesday and Wednesday, so
I'll have a whole crop of new stuff to look at. And then Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern is the Sunday stream where I talk about a thing, which I haven't decided on yet either. Also, go check out Pop Culture Minefield for the Hunt for Red October stream that happened earlier today that I was able to join in on and geek out about Red October. And also, just because it's my show, I can keep going. May 21st, Sunday, May 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And speak of other time zones, it's Irate Alex.
Alex.
Oh, hello, everyone. Sorry,
Hello,
I realized I turned up
Hey,
at the
Alex.
last second.
That's fine.
Happy birthday.
There is no bad time for you to show up.
I mean, yeah, probably earlier. When you weren't doing your outro, may have been a better time.
No. I hit the reset button. How you doing, man?
I fell over.
You fell over? Why'd you do that? Are you ranting monkey too?
No, there were no stairs involved. There were no stairs.
All right, that's good. That's good.
So I got really excited that I finally finished a video. Did after not having done one in over a friggin' year.
How long has it been since your last scripted video?
It's been over a year.
Wow. Yeah. No, I've done a couple. Well, I wouldn't even say they're scripted. They're sort of just like edited live streams, a couple now. But and how'd that go so far? How's the response been?
Well, I've only released it out to early access.
Okay, gotcha.
At the minute, but I got excited by this, and I can't exactly run, but I do shimmy at speed. And
you saunter painstakingly.
At this point, it would be really funny had you followed, and rather appropriate had you followed me around with a trumpet, whilst I celebrated. But I celebrated nonetheless, and that was a mistake, you see. Because I forget that my body hates me very much, and I did that, and then I sat down, and then I went to get up, and then I went back down again. Except for on my backside, I went down on the floor.
No!
It was all right. It was fine. I didn't hurt myself or anything. I just had to crawl for a minute and just chill out for about 20 minutes to let the blood flow resume. But happy birthday, Scribe!
Well, thank you, Alex. So we need to get you a pillow suit or something to try to protect you. One of those Bubble Boy deals or something.
Yeah. And hello,
get an
Pat.
inflatable hamster ball.
Yeah, get him one of the taco pillows.
Yeah. Or just basically like a life jacket, except just always full of air.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Like
how's it going?
an airbag suit.
Yes.
Like you fall over, hit, and then the airbag deploys and pops you back up, or at least cushions your fall.
I hope it doesn't come out at 200 miles an hour, and also with it being made of nylon, it would be rather unpleasant.
Yeah, shrapnel, decapitations, they're likely, but but it might be worth it. It might be worth it. Miranda Stone, thank you for putting Irate Alex's YouTube link there in the chat. Thank you, Miranda. I was just about to shut down for lunch and a couple other things. But
Scribe.
Since you're here, yes.
I don't mean to circle back to the inspiration thing, but
sure.
TC mentioned earlier in chat Undoomed.
Oh yes, Undoomed. Sorry, yeah, no, I mean, there's a zillion names I could mention, but yeah, sure, yeah, Undoomed. Yeah, it was so. I've mentioned this before. The times where, like on Lords of the Night, where either because Monkey's much more popular than I am, but he knows different people, and so when we have people on, like we had Blair White on one time and Undoomed, and these are all creators that I was watching before I ever started YouTube, or was a fan of when I was still a relatively tiny little channel. And it's so, I don't know if it's like, so starstruck or something, but to have people come on your channel or your show that you were an audience member of at one point and loved their stuff before you even started doing this, it's such a sort of weird Vorpal warp kind of sensation to like, oh, wow. Even and with admissions to events that occurred shortly afterwards, even when Mundane Matt came on my channel a couple of times, because as far as a historical figure in the realm of Gamergate, it was very bizarre. I was like, Mundane Matt is on my channel, stuff like that. And but at the same time, I've been so both proud and impressed by the people that I came up with in this whole thing, who've gone on to just do really great stuff, like Alex, like Sinatra, like Monkey, and just watching them succeed And just having that sort of sensation, like I was there when they began, or this guy inspired me, or whatever else. And I tell this story nearly every time he comes on the air, and I'll tell it again. Irate Alex is the reason why I'm doing YouTube now. If he hadn't randomly invited me onto a stream that he posted onto Minds.com back in 2016.
Freaking Minds.
Minds.com, and he was like, hey, I'm going to do a stream. Anybody want to come on? And he just had an open invite. I was like, sure. Because I had a headset microphone at the time. Sure, why not? And I got on there, and I tell it like this, and he knows I'm being facetious, but I say it anyway. After a couple hours with Alex on a stream, I figured to myself, well, if this idiot can do it, I can do it. And so that's what led me to start my own channel. And so I have so much to thank Alex for in getting me started and encouraging me at the beginning, and going back and forth and having little streams together and stuff, and just watching him grow into his role as a YouTuber has been really, really fun to watch. And I'm so thankful that we're friends. And you too, Pat and Kiever Dam and everybody else. I wouldn't know you if it weren't for this, and I'm glad you're along for the ride. And I'm so flattered that you showed up to wish me happy birthday. Man, it's just I've had more than a few birthdays in the past where it's like I didn't hear hide nor hair from anyone about anything, and just like,
happy birthday, Scribe.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Pat, and thank you, Kiever Dam. Thank you, everybody, so much for showing up. Check out Irate Alex's channel. Check out your boy Pat. Check out Kiever Dam. Check out Undoomed. Check out Ranting Monkey. Check out Satsu too. Oh, Satsu! Oh, I forgot. Sorry. I'm going to do this. I know. I said I'd wrap this up, but I got to do this. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oshi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of seasoned flour mixes. Chef Tyrone's seasoned blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might want to use them on. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you the fantastic flavors that you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, and lemon garlic herb. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money by ordering a variety bundle all through the online store. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. There's my first attempt at doing a professional advertisement plug for my friend Satsu. By the way, I am not sponsored by Satsu. That was not a sponsored ad. I just do it because he's my friend, and I look forward to seeing him succeed.
Nice.
So. All right. Well, now after more false endings than Return of the King, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate your attention. Appreciate your generosity. Everybody who showed up to be guests for short or long time, guys, thank you so much for showing up. I'm so glad to know you. Moderators,
love you.
Oh, thank you, Alex. Love you too. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so consistently well behaved, you have so very little to do. Everybody who donated either to myself or to the link at the top of the chat box to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. If you have a couple of bucks, $5, 10, whatever, if you can donate it there, that'd be one of the best birthday gifts you can give me. I really appreciate that. And one last thing, if you would like to join the Discord server, well, I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. If you're not already a member of the Discord server, you can come on there. You'll end up on the landing channel called Say Hello. All you have to do there is, in addition to saying hello, say the secret word. And the secret word tells us that you watch the show all the way to the end. And today's secret word is gratitude. I'm so much grateful for all you guys and everybody. And thank you so much for joining me. Everyone, have a good rest of your Monday. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Stay cool for those of you out in the West who are boiling right now in different places. Hope to see you on Thursday. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon. And I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.